This is the Voices of Herriman podcast, the podcast that amplifies the voices of our community. Nestled here in the heart of Herriman, where everyone has a story. Whether you're a Herriman native, a newcomer, or an admirer from afar, I got you on this adventure. Welcome to the Voices of Herriman. All right, from Redemption Bar and Grill, this is Voices of Herriman. Welcome in. Today, we're here with Kevin Forsgren. Mm-hmm. Did I say that right that time?
That's right, yep.
Man, I'm sorry. I apologize. Owner-operator of Quench. Man, we're so glad to have you on.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Now, you guys have been in Herriman for how long now?
It'll be a year this month.
A year this month?
Yeah, so October 20th last year we opened in 2022.
That's awesome.
I know, it's crazy. Awesome. It goes by fast.
Yeah, it really has. Man, I tell you what, I'm so excited to have you on. I'm excited to get to know you a little bit, excited to hear your voice a little more and share with our community. So you moved to Herriman about 13 years ago. So as far as Herriman goes, you're part of the older crowd.
Yeah, in more ways than one. But yes, when we moved here, 134th was like two lanes all the way down. So we've lived through that construction several times. So several times. Been good being here though.
Right. And you're here with your wife, Julie.
That's right. Yep.
And then you've got 8 kids.
8 kids. We're a blended family. So
awesome.
I have 4 and she has 4. And we've been married. It'll be 25 years next year.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you've got 10 grandkids too.
Yes.
So what's better, being a dad or being a grandpa?
Grandparent. If you could skip the whole dad part, it's a lot better.
All right. Hey, let's
just go right to grandkids. It's much more fun.
Let's figure out how to do that. Now, you grew up in Roy, you said.
Yes.
And you said you grew up a little bit as a knucklehead.
Yeah, you could say that. Had a little bit of behavioral issues, I'll say. So, but we overcame that when I was about 18, finally.
18? What was kind of the thing that helped you really, I guess, maybe grow out of that?
So, when I was a junior in high school, I, was getting kind of tired of always being in trouble with things. And, I was always the class clown. And that really hasn't changed. But trying to format that so that, you can use that constructively. But I joined the military my junior year and went to what they call a split option program. So I went to basic training the summer of my junior year. And that'll help you grow up pretty quick, going through basic training and learning there's a big world out there and there's a lot of opportunity with that. And so I decided I wanted to change and kind of not just mess around, but maybe take life a little more seriously and have fun doing it, but wanted to accomplish something with my life.
Oh, that's awesome. So after that part, you went into sort of a mission for the LDS Church, right?
Correct. I went to Anaheim, California.
Oh, fun.
And learned a lot of great lessons there, a lot of leadership skills. And really, going to California, I kind of grew up with the understanding that people that did well and made money was at the expense of everybody else. And so when I got there, I was in Huntington Beach for 7 months and had a lot of really wealthy people that were so kind and so considerate and generous and really showed me that that's not the way it is, that they're very kind people. And so I thought, I would rather be able to do something and give back than to just be hoping somebody did something for me and I could be there to take it.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. That's a very valid lesson. Now, so after the mission, you went back into the Army as active duty. Right.
I went to active duty, went to Fort Hood, Texas, back in 89, 90, and was there as we prepared for the first Gulf War, Operation Desert Storm. We had fun painting all the tanks and stuff from green to tan. It was kind of interesting to watch everything change because before, when I first joined the military, everything was, green and camouflage. And all of a sudden there was a need for everything to go to sand and tan. And so we got Fort Hood ready to mobilize and go over to Saudi Arabia and fight that first Gulf War. And so I did that. And then I left the Army 3 weeks before my unit deployed and came back. But they went to Saudi Arabia for 9 months And of course, that's been on and off again ever since then.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
We appreciate that. People that are willing to put everything on the line for our country is what makes our country safe and what makes it great. But we appreciate your service.
Thank you.
Now, when you came back, you worked up the chain at a company called Ernest Home Centers.
Yeah. So came back and I got a job at OSHA during the day, and it was terrible and I hated it. I was making $7 an hour, and after a year I went up to $7.10. And so I needed a second job at night, and was cleaning in Layton at the Ernst Home Center. I was cleaning the lumber department every night, and was talking to my boss, and I said, you know what? I'm just going to do this, and I'm going to work my way up to become a store manager for them, and set a goal that in 4 years, I've got to be a store manager if I'm ever going to get out of working 2 jobs and, doing lawns and all the other things I was doing on the side to try and make ends meet. And so that's what I did. And I focused on that and became a store manager for them, and ran 2 different stores, one in Cheyenne, Wyoming, one in Logan, Utah. And it was a great experience with Ernst Home Center until they went out of business.
Yeah, that's a blast from the past. Only true Utahns remember.
That's right.
Yeah, I remember Ernest.
Yes, the older ones.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember going with my grandpa with, the precursor to Home Depot and
Yes.
Lowe's.
Yeah.
That's remarkable. So you literally started off sweeping the lumber yard at night.
Yep, stacking the 2x4s, the shingles, stacking everything back on the shelf straight, cleaning it up, sweeping the saw, as well as all the customer service that was involved with that, like cutting lumber and loading lumber and concrete and block and whatever else needed to be done.
Man, that is awesome.
Yeah, it was good.
That takes some grit to say, you know what, like, hey, I don't want to live this lifestyle. I want to figure out how to become successful that way. What about that? Like, how did you develop that grit, that effort?
So growing up, we didn't have a lot of money. I grew up in, I didn't realize this until actually just a little while ago, talking to one of my friend's mom, but we were in low income housing. And it was a low income housing neighborhood, but I didn't really know that. But, I knew we didn't have a lot of money. And I remember, when I went to go on my mission, I didn't have enough money for shoes. And didn't have enough money for 2 suits like we were supposed to have. And so people helped me out, and my bishop met me at the mall and bought me shoes. And I just remember feeling like I didn't want to do that if I had kids and they got older. And so I just felt like there had to be a better way. And so that's what's motivated me. I remember going to scout camps, and we would stop at McDonald's on the long trek home, and I wouldn't have any money. And so I'd always just say, I'm not hungry, and I don't want anything. I don't feel good, whatever it was, because it was embarrassing to say, I don't have $2.50 for whatever I wanted or whatever. And the people, normally offered to pay, but then that was embarrassing for me too. And so I remember my thought of being successful was having enough money to have shoes if you needed shoes. That was my goal. Huh. If my kids needed shoes, I could buy them shoes. They didn't have to have hand-me-downs. And that was kind of my motivation, was to live differently. And then when I saw how differently you could live when I went on my mission, I just really wanted to put in the effort to never give up, because I don't have much education. I didn't do well in school. I did okay in school as far as if I applied myself, but I never really liked high school. And so I had to just kind of learn by experience. And so my motto is just never give up and never let them win. And so no matter what it takes, that's what I'm going to do. No matter how many hours, no matter whatever it's going to take to do, I just don't want to go to where I live and never know where my next meal is going to come from, or my kid's next pair of shoes, or now my grandkids' pair of shoes. If they need something, I want to be in a position to give that to them, to help them and help them succeed, and maybe be a turning point in the culture of my family to where it pivots. And, like my son's an attorney. My daughter's a nurse. All my stepdaughters are very successful in what they're doing. one of my son-in-laws is a dentist, the other one's a physical therapist, the other one's in medical school right now. And so I feel like it's helped pivot and position my family to be more of a contributor in society. And so that's been my motivation.
That's incredible. I mean, you are literally the epitome of the American dream, that it is like, if you want something, you can, you may have to crawl and scrape and outwork everybody, but that if you really want something bad enough, you can go get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that, man. I think that's so cool. I have so much respect for that. I love that shoes. That's a really cool thing. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
Now, so right now you're doing a little bit of double duty, right? You still serve as the general manager at the Walmart down in Payson, correct?
Correct.
And you are the owner operator at Quench.
Correct.
So talk to me about Quench. Like you said that you wanted to become a small business owner. Mm-hmm. Why was that a passion of yours?
So going back to school, like I said, I didn't do a whole lot of great things. And in fourth grade, there was an economics contest for an economics fair. And a friend of mine and I decided we were going to open a movie theater. And back then it was on film strips. I don't know if you remember film strips. But we figured out how to strip the film strips with Clorox bleach till there was nothing on them. And then you could draw on them and then you could rotate them through. And so I wrote stories and he was an artist. And anyway, we put this, we called it, I think it was Bigfoot Theater, believe it or not.
Yes.
But anyway, we ended up winning the economics fair in fourth grade for the whole Weber County. For the fourth grade to sixth grade division. And I really liked that feeling. We won $75. I remember getting $37.50. And I remember buying a record player with it because I didn't have one. And so that felt good to me. And so I thought, I'd like to do this. And then I ran a trading post at scout camps for 2 years when I was growing up at Camp Bartlett in Idaho. And I really liked that small business thing. And I really enjoyed that. And so I've always kind of wanted to open up my own business, but it's expensive to open up your own business and takes a lot. And so I was fine doing the route I was on and so forth. And then this opportunity with Quench came along. Some friends of mine that I worked with at Walmart, they own some Quenchets because it's a franchise. And so they talked to me and said, you should think about buying a franchise and opening one up. And we only wanted to do it if it made sense to us. It took us a little while to decide. And then we looked around, we were thinking of American Fork, but we really wanted to put one in Herriman, but there just really wasn't much available. It was hard. And then we found a developer that was selling the land. And so, 2-year process to get it up and running, but it was worth it because we wanted to be in Herriman. And so that's what we did. And we opened a Quench and it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of learning. It's a lot different running your own business than even running I run $100 million stores. I've run $900 million markets. But I had a whole army of people to do everything for me, right? Like accounting and payroll and all those things. So it's been a great learning experience. And so we've really, really enjoyed owning the Quench here in Herriman.
I love that. So talk to you a little bit more about the process of getting the small business set up, right? You got the friends that they recruited you a little bit, say, hey, this is a cool business opportunity. Said you cost a lot of money. What was kind of the steps that you had to take? Maybe working with the developer, working with the city, trying to get things going that way.
Yeah. So we had to first of all work with the developer and who become our landlord, and it was kind of a build to suit, right? So we said, hey, if you'll build us this building, we'll lease it for this many years at this much money, and so they said okay. And then I met with the architect and designed the building on the inside. Mostly, they knew the footprint of how many square feet they wanted to have that building, but then on the outside, as far as the way it looked, and then some of the inside, we kind of designed that so that it would function, because it's a lot of sodas to sell in a day, and so you kind of have to get that organized, because if you're doing if it's not in a good flow, you're not going to be able to serve the customers as quickly as you need to. And sometimes the lines look kind of long, but we have a pretty good system and we get through it pretty quick.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that.
And so we met with them. Then they helped me and facilitate with the city. So if you're building your own, you're going to have to do that part of it. If you have a landlord, they'll meet with the city. They kind of go over all the specs, the landscaping, the inside, and then you have to worry about ADA requirements and all the things that go along with it. But there's people there that help you through the whole process, right? They answer your questions. And Herriman City, I have to say, they're very particular about things because they want things to be nice for the for the community. They're really conscientious about that, but they're also very helpful. And we have a great mayor who is involved in our businesses. He supports everybody and he knows everybody. But the staff in Herriman was really great to work with. The city staff, they were kind. We were really having a trouble getting our occupancy permit between all the little things, right? Like the sewer, that's a different entity. And so it had to be just right, and certain grease traps and all these little things. And we finally got it ready to go, and we had people ready to open, and we still needed our occupancy permit. And so they worked with us to where they were like talking to me on standby, say, hey, as soon as you get this signed off, bring it to us. We'll sign this, get you your business license, your occupancy permit, and you can open tonight. And that's kind of how it happened.
I love that.
And so they were great. I mean, because we were anxious to get open because, every day you're not open. It was every day you're not making any money or making any sales, but you still have bills, right?
Yep.
You still spend all the money to get all the equipment in there and the inventory in there and all those things. And you just need that little permit to get going. And so we did that with them, and they were fabulous to work with. And I appreciate them being particular because you don't want to open up a business you're going to struggle with or cause problems for the environment or whatever else. But that was kind of the process. And then they've been very supportive. They come over, they buy drinks, and we're not far from City Hall. So, we sometimes see them come over, and they're really great to work with.
I love that, man. We really do have a great city. We have a great mayor. Sandra and the team over there are they're just fantastic. And there's a real want to have businesses be successful. Yeah. And you would agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know they want to bring new business in. It's a process though. I mean, I signed my lease in September of 2020 and we didn't open until October of 2022. So between construction delays, things that aren't available, sometimes there's other things that get in the way, where you think, a 1,600 square foot building, right? It shouldn't take that long to build. It's like a big shed. But yet, we finally broke ground in March and we still didn't open until October. And so, we just had to be patient to get through it. And I can imagine what it must be like to bring in a bigger business into somewhere like this and anywhere right now. Because even with Walmart, I mean, I am in charge of remodels and stuff at a store, and we just expanded onto my building, and lots of delays. It's just kind of the way it is since COVID. And so sometimes we think we should be able to get a business in a year, but it's a lengthy process.
It definitely can be. How impactful has the community support been for you guys?
I don't know how you would measure it. It's just unbelievable. They've been so kind. Grand opening was so much fun, getting to meet so many people. But we have such a kind community. They're supportive. We have amazing kids. So my favorite part about this whole process, and my wife's too, has been getting to see these kids start their first job and develop. We had like 85 applicants the first 2 days where we posted, and we had to shut it down because we hired about 38 to begin with, and we knew we'd have to get down to about 30. And it sounds like a lot, but a lot of them just work a few hours a week because of school activities and stuff, but it gives them spending money. But you got to train them all and you got to do all this stuff. But we trust this business that we've invested so much of our own money in to these 16 and 17-year-olds and 15-year-olds to take care of our customers. And for the most part, they try so hard to please every single customer. And it's been amazing to watch them grow. We've had some kids start and they're just really quiet and timid and kind of shy around the other kids. And now, they're joking and laughing and they're doing so well. And, some of them have moved on to like higher paying jobs because obviously the soda shop's not going to be a $20 an hour job, right? Yeah. But it's a good start, right? Yeah. And people learn to work. They learn to clean. They learn to take the trash out. They learn to customer service, some of them, they don't really deal with cash. And so we had to like put on the tills, this is 1 cent, 5 cent, 10 cent, just so they understood, because this generation is a little bit different. It's not like when I grew up and everything was cash. And so it's been a good learning experience for them. Great experience for us. We love the kids that work in our store. I have a manager. Her name's Lindsay. She's 22, I think. And she's kind of like our pseudo adopted daughter now.
Oh,
I mean, we love
that.
her. She's fantastic. She does an amazing job. The customers know Lindsay. Whenever I talk to customers, they always tell me how amazing Lindsay is. And there's so many. I wish I could name every one of our employees by name, because we could talk something about every single one of them that they do for us and that they do for our customers. But that's been the most fun, is watching them learn and grow, take better jobs. And they come back and talk to us and tell us about how it's going. But just to be a part of that community, to help them learn and to grow, that's been my favorite part. And I didn't even know that was going to be my favorite part, and that's been our favorite part.
I love that. Like my favorite story is Quench. So this is my favorite is the do, right? Do the blue. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I didn't even know what it was. I literally pulled up to the window and I said, man, I just need a drink, right? Give me something. I like Mountain Dew, something that tastes like I'm at a beach right now, because I need a beach right now. And I don't remember who the girl's name was. I apologize. I probably should know. I should remember. But she figured out this drink order. And I love the fact that, right, like, first thing they say to you, right, is, do you have a loyalty number with us, right? And so I give them my number, and they're like, oh, do you want this again? Or do you want this with the extra? Because they put an extra pump of coconut in here for me. And it really makes the drink pop for me. And it's really because she took the time and the effort to say, hey, look, I know this. I'm going to help you. So I haven't tried another drink, because that's the one that she recommended to me. It made my day. And here we are. So do the blue, guys. You got to try this one. Tastes like a beach. But you're right. They're good kids.
Yep.
They're willing to help, and what they need is culture to be able to be successful. Now, and that's it. You've got a lot of passion projects, right? You've worked with the food bank. You've also worked with the Legal Aid Society, working with helping victims of domestic violence.
Correct.
You talked about serving as the GM of the Pace and Walmart, not working as the GM, but serving as the GM. You also mentioned that your passion is really your kids, as far as like your employees, which you'd probably call them your kids anyway.
We do, yes.
But the kids in the community.
Right.
Tell me more about that. Why is that a passion to you, and what do you guys do to be able to help reach those kids?
As you see these kids learn and grow, and the older I get, which is sadly happening faster than I would like, but
long days filled with short years.
Yeah, it's crazy. You realize that the kids really are the future, and I saw like a video the other day talked about, in 100 years from now, none of us will be here. Other people will be living in our homes. Other people will have our stuff, or it'll be just in the landfills or whatever. So what's really important is people, right? And there's a lot of people that are in need out there. And so whether it's through domestic violence, I served on Legal Aid Society Board of Directors for 3 years. And, mainly when you serve on a board like that, it's about, can you bring in funds and fundraise so they can pay the lawyers and the things to help these people. But if you've never been in that situation and felt what helplessness really feels like, if they don't know where to go and they're desperate, they need somebody that can help them. And so anytime that we can be a part of a solution like that, or when I met with, so I don't know if anyone knows, I don't know if you know the CEO of the food bank. Her name's Jeanette Bott.
Oh, yeah.
But she used to be over like fundraising and community involvement, and I don't even know her exact title. She has an amazing story, if you get to know her. But we worked with this national Facebook campaign that Walmart was supporting, and I was the market manager at the time, so I was over all the stores on the west side of Salt Lake. And I met with some people that knew a lot of people. And we just got this campaign going, and we ended up winning $1 million for the food banks in Utah, not just the Utah Food Bank, but a couple others. But I remember one of the things we heard from one of afterwards, because Walmart made it a stipulation that they couldn't buy food with the $1 million. It had to be for logistical purposes because that helped them more. Like Jeanette told me that like a farmer will call from Idaho and say, I have a whole truckload of potatoes I can donate, but I can't get them to you. And so if you have a truck to come get them, that's great. So that they could buy and go get food, right? Or they bought refrigerated trucks where they could transport things from donated from grocery stores to back to their facility and keep it under refrigeration where before they couldn't. And so during that process, I had one of the ladies call me and said, we just delivered food to a lady who told us she hadn't had a roast in 7 years. But because of the money that we got from the campaign, we bought a refrigerated truck and was able to get that to her. And I thought, I had a roast in 7 years. And if that's so sad. And how good is it when we can do a little bit? Because when a lot of people do a little, it adds up to a lot.
Yeah.
And so it was able to bless people's lives in ways. And there's nothing more important than we'll leave. Because when you get to my age, it's not about success. It's about legacy. What are you going to leave with your kids? What are they going to talk about at your funeral? Because that's really something that you want them to be able to say, you had an impact in life and this is what it was. Because I'm never going to be like an Elon Musk, right? Like, not going to affect millions of people and provide millions of jobs. But what if I can make a difference in one person's life that makes it better? Or 5 people, right? And so as you think about that, and if you can raise good kids and good grandkids, then it's amazing how that spreads out and has a fanning effect. And then you can make a difference and you can leave a legacy. Even though you come from humble beginnings, you keep that humility no matter what. And it's about helping people. And so that's what we do. And so that's why I say we serve at the pace of Walmart, because Walmart has always taught that we're servant leaders. We serve those that work for us because we actually work for them. And if we can provide them a great place to work, that's better for us and for everybody. And that's the philosophy we have at Quench It. If we can provide a better place for these kids to have a first good job, because it's not a hard job, it's not a demanding job, but you still have to learn to work. And not stand around and not be on your phone all the time and all those things, right? And if we can teach them that, when they go to the next real job, they're going to be a step ahead of everybody else because they're going to have those disciplines.
Man, I love that, man. I want a job. I want to come work for you.
Sure. We'll hook you up.
So I got a quote that I want to share with you, and I think this really goes to your philosophy. So this is by one of my favorite motivational speakers, Zig Ziglar. He says, you don't build a business, you build people. Then people build the business. I'll say that one more time. You do not build a business, you build people, and then people build the business. Tell me about your thoughts on that quote.
Well, I think he's Zig Ziglar, how do you argue with him, right? But he's exactly right. I talk about engagement, right? How do you get your employees to be engaged? The first thing you have to do is give them a good atmosphere, a good culture, something of respect, something of fun. We have so much fun. My wife, Julie, she's like the mom of everybody over there, right? I have to get after her about not doing all the hard jobs. That it's okay for them to take the trash out. She's like, oh, I got it. I'm like, no, let them do it, right? To build, because they're not going to get that in the next job, right? Yeah. They're not going to be a Julie at every job. And so she's so kind and she's so fun. My wife's a lot of fun, and she provides a great culture for them over at Quench It to have fun, but to work, right? And to it's fun because you see these kids who all came and they're from different high schools and different cultures and different places and backgrounds, but several of them have become friends to where they hang out after work and they do things. They didn't even know each other before Quench It, right? And so the business, whenever we get reviews, and we get a great review, most of the time it's always around an interaction with with an employee. It's not fine, drinks are good, right? We can put the same syrup that somebody else puts in, right? But what's the experience and it doesn't matter where you go, because if the experience is fast and friendly and good quality, then that sets us apart from maybe somebody that isn't, because we are definitely a local family business. Like, there's only 10 Quenches in existence right now, and there's several under construction, but we're not corporate. We're not part of a big company. And so everything we do matters. Every little decision we make matters. But to build the company is to build the people. And we know we'll transition through people, but that culture will hopefully transition with the people. And they'll take that to other places, but also they'll leave it behind. And so it's fun. It's a fun job. It's a busy, like if you've been there on a Sunday, it's busy, right? And so we're pushing and we're pushing and we're pushing. We want to give every customer a great experience, a great drink, a great snack. We have great cookies and brownies, but the people is what makes that business successful. And that's where we get our great reviews, is from the interaction with our employees. And that is what Zig Ziglar's talking about, is the people, right? Whether it be if you're running a high-tech company, you're going to have to hire the smartest and brightest tech people, but they also have to be people who care and are kind and compassionate towards each other, because nobody wants to work in an atmosphere of doom and gloom and being coerced into doing things they don't like, or that's not an ethical situation. And so we just want to take care of our customers and take care of our employees. And I think Zig Ziglar's right on that.
Yep, absolutely. We're going to switch gears a little bit and go to the lightning round. Some quick questions. First question: do you call drinks soda or do you call it pop?
I call them sodas. Seems like when I was growing up, I used to say pop, but somewhere I transitioned to sodas.
Sodas?
Yeah.
What's your favorite soda?
Diet Coke.
Diet Coke.
Now, I've been a Diet Coke drinker since 1986. So, anyway, I drink a lot of Diet Coke. And as far as mix, believe it or not, I like to just add lemons or limes to my Diet Coke, and keep it simple. But and the funny thing is, I own a whole soda shop where we mix drinks, and I keep it simple myself. So
I like it. Hey, that's clean.
Confession time.
What is the most popular drink at Quench It?
Believe it or not, our most popular drinks is our energy drinks. It's called the Mojo. It's an energy drink like a White Ultra or a Red Bull or a Rockstar that we mix with. We top them off. So we put them, they're usually with 16 ounces. We put them in a 44-ounce cup or 32-ounce cup, top it off with like Mountain Dew or Sprite or lemonade, depending on what the customer likes. Then we can add orange or pineapple or whatever to it. And then vanilla cream, mix it up. And that's our most popular, at least by dollar wise. And then our most popular soda is Dr. Creamberry. With just Dr. Pepper, raspberry, and vanilla cream.
I like that. My daughter loves the Twisted Sister.
That is very popular too.
That is her go-to. 110%. Tell me about a bucket list trip. If you could go anywhere right now, like say anywhere in the world, you say, hey, Jules, we're going to go on a trip. Where would it be?
Well, we're planning one for next year. We've been saving our credit card miles for years for this. So we're planning next fall going to Greece. And we'll take 2 weeks over there. But if I had to choose a bucket list one today, my wife and I really enjoy beach vacations. So I'd probably say the Maldives.
That'd be
awesome.
Especially
and one of those things where they don't bug you for, you just out in a little cabin thing with a swim out and stuff, when nobody bugs you for a week. That'd be awesome.
That would be, and especially right now as the weather's getting colder here, like it would be really nice to be at a beach right now.
Yep.
Man, I'm always wanting to go to a beach. Tell me what your favorite failure is. Now, right, we tend to think of failures as a bad thing, right? I don't. Mm-hmm. I think that failures are a wonderful stepping stone. So when I ask what your favorite failure is, I want to know the thing that probably happened to you most in your life that really catapulted you into the person that you are now?
I guess my biggest failures was I was always in trouble at school. And like I said, I wasn't a bad kid, but I was disruptive. I was bored a lot. And I think I might have had a little bit of ADHD and not known it or whatever. I don't know. But those failures helped me realize, because I was pretty, as far as enlisted a couple years in the military, successful in those endeavors. That wasn't hard for me. It wasn't hard to work hard and run and do push-ups and all the things that we used to do in the military. But the feeling I got of accomplishment is what started to change my motivation in life to accomplish more. It's a better feeling to accomplish than it is to excuse your behavior.
Ooh, I like that. So if there was a kid that was maybe a 15, 16-year-old Kevin, what advice would you give him?
My advice would be, there's a better way than what you probably see in your life right now. And you might have to find someone to help you find that. But don't give up. Find what you're passionate about, whether that be, and go with that passion, but find a way to get there. And some passions might have to be a hobby. Not everybody can play guitar for a living, but if you love the guitar, find a living that supports your hobby and helps you, play the guitar. You can do night gigs or whatever, and you may have to earn a living during the day. So find what is it that you can do, and what makes you feel good, right? Not just what you're happy doing, but what gives you satisfaction. And if it's helping people, then look in those careers where it's helping people, or if it's building something. And I think we miss a lot of opportunity in trades these days, where we need electricians and plumbers and carpenters and mechanics. There's nothing wrong with going to a different route than the traditional go to get a 4-year degree in college, right? I mean, that's great. But if that's not what your passion is, if that's not where it's going to be, it's a long time after high school and college. And so if you like working on cars, and you then find a way to make money and a living doing that, and take those steps, because the sacrifice now brings the rewards later. Nothing comes for free. It doesn't come easy. You just can't give up. And there will be times where, I remember being so broke at times, I was like, this is never going to get better. I'm always going to be working 3 jobs my whole life. That's just what I figured was going to happen. And so find what makes you happy, because it's not about money, because money's not going to bring you any happiness. You can have all the money in the world, but if you don't know what you like and you're around who you want to be around and who you love, you're not going to be happy anyway. So you can be very limited income and be completely content and happy with what you've done in life, because you're doing what's important to you.
I love that. So chase passion.
Chase passion. And work hard.
I like that. Now, you've been on the spectrum as a kid, right? As a parent, as a step parent, which is a whole different perspective than being
Correct.
A parent, right? And now as a grandparent and as an employer.
Right.
What advice would you give to parents that are maybe having the experience that maybe your parents had when, like kids struggling in school, maybe struggling with behaviors, maybe acting out a little bit? What advice would you give parents?
My advice to anybody would be, don't underestimate your kids and their potential. Find it. Help them find it, because that's why they're acting out. They're trying to figure out who they are, and they don't have to be what you think they should be. They don't have to act the way you think they should have to act. Help them be themselves, but don't give up on them, and don't think it's always going to be that way. I'm sure my parents thought for a long time they were probably, they didn't want me to buy my first car because they didn't think I'd make the payments, because they just didn't trust that I would make an adult kind of decision. And yet that wasn't a hard thing for me. Those kind of things were easy for me, doing those things, but they just didn't feel like I was mature enough to handle that, right? Because I was cleaning a meat department at Albertsons at night, and I just wanted a car. I bought a $900 Mercury Lynx, and I made every payment, and it was still there when I got off my mission, and that's what got me started. So don't think that your kids' potential is what you feel. They got to find it, and you just got to be there, support them for it. Don't give up, though.
I love that. I think that's so wise, Kev. That's so wise. Tell me what the best piece of advice that somebody gave you was.
So
let's turn into like the advice.
Sometimes the advice is a vision, right? Like I remember, I had a mentor. We all have mentors, right? Yeah. So I had a mentor named Don Schulteis. He lives in Bountiful. He's an amazing guy. And I remember one time, my store manager that I was working with at Ernst had a family emergency, and we had to get his truck home to him. So I told Don I'd drive his truck and follow him to his home. And he just built a brand new, beautiful home in Draper. This was back in 92. So Draper was still pretty small back then, new subdivisions going in. And it was amazing. I remember over his bed, he had a TV and built inside a garage. These were still the big box TVs, right? But it was over his bed, and this garage door would open up and he could watch TV laying down in bed, right? And I was still making like $9.40 an hour back then. And it was a beautiful home. And I remember Don, he was always my mentor, and he said, Kevin, if you work hard and you pay attention, you make good decisions when you work hard, because you can work hard and make bad decisions, you're still never getting anywhere. He said, you can have all of this when you get a little older too. As you grow, this could be how you live. And that kind of set my vision. Like I want a decent house. I want somewhere my kids can grow up and be comfortable. And so we've been blessed that we've always been able to provide decent homes. I don't have a mansion, but it's very comfortable now. But we've always been blessed to have nice places to live, nice bedrooms that my kids, nothing's more rewarding on a cold winter night than to sit down in your nice warm house and know your kids are asleep and their bellies are full and that you're okay. And that was my vision that helped me stay motivated, because I always remember Don telling me that and felt like I needed to prove him right.
Man, I love that. All right, last question. So obviously you've been part of this community for a long time, started a business and all of that stuff. What is the vision moving forward with Quench It, the community, with the city at large in your mind? So
with Quench It, my first vision was like, man, we could open 10 of these and blah, blah, blah. And now that I've got one open, I want to do really well at the one right now. And we may open more, but that's really not my goal. My goal is to be really good at the one and be successful there and provide a great place for kids to work. Because it's been such a rewarding experience for us. And as far as the community, we want to support education. Because that's what makes us different than other people, right? Is what we learn. And so whatever that education looks like for kids. So we try and support the team at Herriman High School. We try and the other high schools around too. We are very grateful for teachers and what they do. So, we try and go around and pass out coupons to the schools for the teachers to come get. Yeah. I'm sure there's a time they probably need to quench it to get through the day, right? And so, but education is probably our biggest focus with the and kids with the community. Not so much just what they learn, but have a safe place to be and have fun, right? You're only a kid once, so you need to have fun when you're a kid. But also learn and grow and learn to work. And so those are the kind of things that we'll support. And we just kind of want to just leave a mark on when we're no longer on this earth, we just want to feel like we left our little mark in Herriman, because we really enjoy living here. We've had great friends here, and we just want to leave it a great place by helping kids learn and become. And a lot of kids will, they'll move away, but a lot will stay here. And those are the kids that'll be the future of this community, and we want them to be good kids.
I love that. So obviously the podcast is called Voices of Herriman, and I am so appreciative of you sharing your voice with us. It's been meaningful and it's been impactful, and I appreciate that. So we're going to turn the time over to you to let you share anything else you'd like to share, your voice with the community of Herriman.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to be here. It's humbling to be here, because this is not like a normal thing for me, right? So I'm glad for the opportunity. And, I guess the thing we'd say is, we're a business that wants to be in Herriman. We want to serve. And so if things are great, let us know. If something's not right, obviously it's not hard to maybe make a drink wrong. Let us know. We want to fix it. We want to be a great experience. We always talk about, we want to be the Chick-fil-A of the soda industry, right? Like we want to be a step above the fast food that, you don't always have a great experience, but you know what you're going to get, so you go there anyway kind of thing. We don't want to be that. We want you to feel like you're going to have a great experience every time you come to Quench It. We want to, I wish we could donate to everybody that needs a donation. There's so many good causes out there. So we try and donate wherever we can, and support those things. And we try and keep that mission around what represents our business with the kids. So whether it be a school, the DECA at school, the community, whatever, those are the kind of places we try and put our donations to help them. And we just want to thank everybody in Herriman for being such great customers and friends. And we've just enjoyed every day opening the shop. We go over there. We decided to open on Sundays. We felt like there was a lot of people in the community that wanted a soda shop that was open on Sundays. And so that's been very successful for us. And I think a lot of customers have really appreciated that. Yeah. So if that's important to them, then we want to be able to serve everybody, right? And so those are the kind of things we've done. And Quench is a great place. We try and be a little bit better than the others. And that's up to the customer to judge, right? We think we're trying to get there. We are very particular from everything from every kind of ice we use to every syrup we use, and to every drink we serve to try and make it the best. So if it's ever not, please let us know. We'll fix it. But we just appreciate the opportunity to be here, be in Herriman, and great customers like you. It's fun to talk to you in line, when we're out there line rushing and stuff. It's just fun to meet everybody. So we really enjoy it.
It is great. Yeah. Thank you again for being on here, and encourage everybody to go out and support our local Herriman businesses. A couple reminders: you come into Redemption, mention the podcast, get 50 cents off the mac and cheese ball appetizers. We appreciate you guys stopping in. You ready?
Oh yeah, let's do it. If I can reach it.
Got it?
I got it.
All right, our quenching time.
Cheers. Thank you.
Okay, Herriman, we got you. Thank you so much for being a part of the Voices of Herriman podcast. I hope you've been inspired, moved, and have connected with the stories and the passion shared by our community. As I wrap up this episode, remember, the journey does not end here. Keep exploring, keep sharing, and keep connecting. Together, we can create a vibrant, supportive, and thriving community. If you have a story to share, a suggestion for future episodes, or just want to say, hey, I'd love to hear from you, reach out on social media at Voices of Herriman and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Before we go, a heartfelt thank you to Mix at Six Studios for producing and editing our podcast. Head over to mixat6studios.com to learn more about all the amazing services they offer. To the amazing individuals who have shared with me their stories and our fantastic listeners, you make Voices of Herriman a meaningful experience. Until next time, take care, stay connected, and remember, I got you.